Hello guys, today I have this setup for you. This is my first version of a Saturn Critter Trap farm to produce power and food. You have seen me use the Saturn Critter Trap in the previous video and I thought why not make a farm out of that. So what does this do? We do have a geyser that produces 1 kilogram per second and we only need 10 kilogram per cycle for the Saturn Critter Trap to grow. Here, 10 kilogram per cycle. We do have 600 seconds in a cycle, meaning we can have 60 Saturn Critter Traps with just a geyser that produces 1 kilogram per second, giving us 600 kilograms in a cycle. Which is why we can supply this many Saturn Critter Traps with the needed liquid to make them domesticated Saturn Critter Traps. You can also grow them wild, but that is a whole other question, because then we do not get as much food. Every 30 cycles we do get 12,000 kilocalories from every Saturn Critter Trap that has eaten a critter. That means we get 720,000 kilocalories every 30 cycles. That is 24,000 kilocalories each cycle on average, if you store it in an infinite storage. As for the hydrogen produced, with this, if the wiki is correct, we produce 25 kilograms per plant per cycle of hydrogen, meaning we have times 60, 1500 kilogram per cycle of hydrogen divided by 600 seconds, giving us 2.5 kilograms per second. That is 25 generators. We do have 5 generators in the middle. Those are prioritized, meaning you can have 4 generators per row additionally. This here is just a simple representation of 5 generators per row. But since we do use the one in the middle, technically it would be more correct to have 4 generators per row. This gives you a free energy of 20 times 800 watts to your free use, which is 16,000 watts of power with this setup. So how does this work? Well, pretty easy. You go and grab one of the bee tinies, you press the move to button and move it to this area here. Once the bee tiny has been moved, you close the whole thing up. It will take 2 cycles to turn into a beta hive, and then you do have a beta hive in there. The beta hive will produce, after it developed fully, every cycle one of the beaters or one of the bee tinies. And with this first step, you already have the beehive inside. Of course, you need to prepare the tiles, the hydroponic farm tiles, before that. Cooling this room when it is still a vacuum does take a little bit of time, but not too much, since you are already piping in the cool slush water from the cool slush geyser at minus 10 degrees Celsius. This here is the piping for the polluted water. First, we pump everything into the storages down here for the time that the geyser is dormant, and then we split it 50-50 to the left and to the right side and feed the plants with it, letting it flow through the gold metal tiles or anything that transfers the heat that you have available in your base. We feed the hydroponic farm tiles with it, cool them down, and for the initial start, cool the rest with the thermoregulators. Each thermoregulator just has a simple line going forward and going back, checking the temperature, bridging the rest over and continuing with the loop. Every single one of our floors does the same. Once everything is nice and cool and we collected enough Saturn Critter Traps, planted them, took a bee tiny, placed it here to the right, we can open this up and the bee tiny will get eaten by the first open plant. The plant will then, over time, spit up the hydrogen, which can then be used to power the thing. Before that, you need external power to start it up. This can take a few cycles, but it is actually pretty much worth it. Now that we have the hydrogen, the gas pump can suck it up, transport it to the room in the middle. Yes, this looks kinda like a mess, but it is actually not. First, it will go over this gas vent. If the room is below 1850 grams, it will first fill the room. So we have a transfer medium for the hydrogen generators. And once the room is filled, the rest will be fed over the generators to cool them down, and then in the generator to activate it, burning the hydrogen, deleting heat, creating energy, and powering the whole thing. Every hydrogen generator is controlled by a smart battery. The smart battery is just set to 90 and 70, and the automation for that is a green cable here. A second automation is this here. If the room is above 100 degrees, then burn energy for 100 seconds, cooling this room down in the process by burning all the excess hydrogen. Same setup for the right with this thermoregulator, same setup for above, and so on and so forth. I did build everything out of steel here, not because you actually need steel. You can have this at a lower temperature, of course, but because steel has such a good thermal conductivity that if you build this out of anything else, it just doesn't transfer heat quickly enough for this to work properly. So you do need quite the amount of steel for the middle part. The rest can be gold or anything that you have accessible, except for the radiant gas pipes that go through the metal tiles. Those should be steel as well, but they are only 25 kilograms each. They have the best properties with a thermal conductivity 108. All the other gas pipes are pretty much useless. You can use the granite tiles though as well, because they're cheap and you can use more of them if you want to. So once you started this up, this delivers a lot of food and a lot of energy to your base. The only issue with that is that you actually do need a dupe that goes in and harvests this. We tried several different setups, but they didn't work as reliably as we would wanted them to work. Maybe I figure out something in the future with the help of the Discord. You also get a lot of nuclear waste if you want that. The risk of your duplicates getting stung here is very high, so in my next version I will take care of that in some way. So how can you use the excess hydrogen in this setup? Well, either you place down a gas pump, which is pretty easy, just place it down, activate it with a cable with a few generators and you will get a lot of power out of it. As mentioned, 4 per row, so 2 per side. Or, which is the energy efficient version, just bridge it over. First everything goes to the generator and everything that you do not need you can use. And that's it for this setup. Let me show you all the overlays. Oxygen overlay, this is the power cable overlay, pretty simple as you see. The heat overlay, by the way, our liquids in the lower left are in a vacuum. This is the material and gas overlay. These are the gases, these are the liquids. As you can see, I made the liquid logs out of liquid naphtha, 1 kilogram, and a little bit of crude oil, 300 grams, just stacked on top of each other with a door behind them so the critter do not escape. This is the piping overlay, this is the dreadful gas overlay, the decor overlay, the plant growth overlay, the automation overlay, and that's pretty much it. If you have a duplicate harvesting this, be aware that the bees do hurt them quite a lot. And with a single one of these, go on bird, we do have 12,000 kilocalories per harvested plant. I hope you enjoyed this, leave a like for the algorithm, and I hope to see you in the next one. Love you guys, and Luma out.